All right, let's get right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking one of the most deeply unsettling real-life mysteries of the modern era, the disappearance of Maura Murray. If you're familiar with this case, you know it's absolutely baffled authorities, armchair detectives, and search teams for nearly 2 decades. My goal today is to present you with the pure, verified facts, walking you step by step through the timeline so we can really understand exactly why this case is so incredibly complex.
Picture this: a locked car abandoned on a dark, rural road. Absolutely zero footprints in the surrounding snow, and a disappearance window of, well, fewer than 10 minutes. These are the objective, chilling facts of the crime scene. There's no clutter here, just the eerie reality of a young woman who seemingly vanished into thin air. So, that brings us to the massive question at the center of this whole explainer. Where is Maura Murray? This case has captivated mystery solvers precisely because it feels exactly like a book missing its final chapter. All the puzzle pieces leading up to the event are sitting right there on the table, but the conclusion is just completely blank.
Okay, part 1. Days before the drive, and understanding the emotional stress.
Let's look at who Maura was. She was a 21-year-old nursing student at UMass Amherst. By all accounts, she was intelligent, athletic, and generally super responsible. But in February 2004, she was under a ton of compounding emotional stress. She had recently been in a minor car crash involving her dad's vehicle. She reportedly got so upset during her shift at work that she actually had to be escorted back to her dorm room. And crucially, her computer showed online searches for directions to northern New Hampshire and Vermont, strongly suggesting she was already planning to hit the road. Then there's this. Right before she left campus, Maura actually emailed her professors and her boss, claiming there had been a death in her family and that she'd be gone for a week. But here's the thing. That was later proven to be completely false. There was no family death. This raises a massive question for us. Why on earth did she feel this intense need to abruptly clear her schedule with a fabricated story?
Which brings us to part 2, the journey north, specifically on February 9th, 2004.
Let's walk through exactly what she did that day. In the morning, Maura packed up her car with essential personal items. We're talking clothing, textbooks, and alcohol. By the afternoon, she's withdrawing money from an ATM and buying even more alcohol from a local store. Then, come evening, she just starts driving north. Notice the stark contrast here. We have this incredibly concrete evidence of her prepping to leave, but total mystery surrounding her actual destination. There is no confirmed evidence of exactly where she was intending to go.
Moving on to part 3, the 10-minute window in Haverhill, New Hampshire.
At exactly 7:27 p.m., Maura's car crashes near an area known as the Weathered Barn Curve. We have this precise time anchored down because a local resident actually heard the impact of the crash and immediately contacted emergency services.
Shortly after the crash, a school bus driver passing through the area pulled over and spoke with Maura. Guys, this was the very last confirmed human interaction with her. The driver noted she had no visible serious injuries, but she completely declined his help and insisted she had already called roadside assistance. Authorities later confirmed this claim was totally false. The driver ended up leaving to call authorities himself.
7 to 10. Think about that for a second. That is the exact number of minutes it took for the police to arrive at the crash scene after that bus driver drove away. In the span of just 7 to 10 minutes, everything completely changed.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer contrast between what they found left behind and what was completely absent. Found at the scene, her locked car, her missing car keys, and her phone and wallet just sitting right there inside. Oh, and there was a red liquid, which responders initially feared was blood, that was later identified as spilled wine. But look at what was not found. 0 clear footprints leading into the surrounding snow-covered woods. No signs of a physical struggle. Not a single witness who saw her leave.
Part 4. The search efforts. Looking for Maura.
The search protocol was honestly massive. First, police dogs were brought in. They actually tracked her scent briefly along the road, but then the scent just abruptly vanishes, stops dead. Ground searches and helicopters were deployed, and they found absolutely zero trace of her. This abrupt end to the scent trail, combined with the complete lack of footprints in the snow, strongly suggests to investigators that she left the area in a vehicle, rather than on foot.
All right, part 5, leading theories. What actually happened here?
Let's objectively weigh the first 2 theories. On the left, voluntary disappearance, the idea that she intentionally ran away to start a new life.
But remember, she left essential belongings like her wallet and her phone behind, and there hasn't been a single blip of financial or digital activity since that night. On the right, exposure in the wilderness. Did she flee into the woods to hide and tragically succumb to the elements? It's totally possible, but search teams thoroughly scoured the area and found absolutely no tracks in the snow and no remains, which those freezing weather conditions would typically preserve.
Now let's compare the next two. On the left, foul play. Given the abrupt end of that scent trail, a lot of people suspect she encountered a stranger in a passing car. But man, that window of opportunity was incredibly tight, literally just 7 to 10 minutes. On the right, an accidental or hidden crime involving a local resident or passerby nearby. Could someone in the immediate vicinity have been involved, either intentionally or by accident? Both of these theories account for the lack of footprints, for sure, but neither has yielded a single confirmed suspect to this day.
Which leads us to Part 6, the enduring mystery, completely unsolved since 2004.
These are the incredibly frustrating roadblocks that keep this case frozen in time. There have been no confirmed sightings of Maura since 2004. There is an absolute mind-boggling lack of physical evidence pointing to any suspect. We have conflicting witness statements over the years. And above all, it always comes back to that impossibly short 10-minute timeline. These missing pieces have fueled literally endless discussions, featuring prominently in documentaries, podcasts, and shows like Unsolved Mysteries.
Which leaves us right here. What exactly fills in the blanks of those 10 minutes? I really want you to consider how a person can leave behind their money, their phone, and their car, and simply vanish from the face of the earth without a single physical trace, all in the time it takes you to brew a cup of coffee. It is an entire life story, just missing its final chapter. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning, keep analyzing, and I'll catch you next time.